So, Unrivaled has been in its second season. In terms of compared to its first season, it's not going well. It's not going well. We can be completely honest here. Again, I would love for Unrivaled to succeed. I thought coming into year 2 that they were going to make the transition to 4v4. Because you can play 4v4 on that court they have and it would still look like good basketball. The only difference is the spacing still the same on the wing, except there's going to be legit post players. Teams have realized that it is near impossible to guard the pick and roll. It is practically impossible to guard it, and you are just seeing... I'm not going to say you're seeing bad basketball, because I didn't think last year had a lot of great basketball either. I'm going to be real. I think we all watched early Unrivaled, the first week or two of Unrivaled last year, just out of curiosity. And now this year, and then you would watch clips. Whenever Angel got into it with somebody... and in fairness, she was doing pretty well. We watched the 1v1 competition because it was interesting. And look, I thought in general that there were definite positives to Unrivaled last year. And it was a not unsuccessful first year. However, the drop-off in viewers between this year and last year is extremely concerning. If you guys didn't see, these are what the ratings were for the key demographic. It is scary that last year, the True TV games, yes, they were averaging under 100k. And they're still averaging under 100k. The main games on TNT are literally on at the same time, or that are just on TNT. Last year, averaged about 180,000, I think. I think it was 180k. Maybe it was over two. No, sorry. Was it over 200? It might have been, but it's under 100 right now. It is under 100k we are seeing from these games, and that is scary. It is dropping. It's dropping 50% on last year. Not on opening night versus opening night. It's down 50% on opening night. It's at the stage now where it's not, opening night was a Monday, it doesn't count. This league is nobody is watching. Unless Paige Bueckers plays, they don't crack 2,000 views on YouTube. 2,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube, unless Paige Bueckers plays. There are games where you can't even crack 1,000. And I've watched party games for more than 1,000 without Caitlin Clark playing, which is kind of scary. It is genuinely one of those ones where, you've got now a situation where I don't know, there's no way that we see, for example, TNT say, okay, yeah, that TV deal that we gave you guys, the long-term TV deal that we gave you guys during the boom, because it's not a party opt-out, it's a TNT can opt out. TNT offered a way over the odds long-term deal because they knew that they could back out. And that's what they're going to do. TNT are going to back out on TV deal, and I would be scared if they offer money at all. Because this is bad. I know that Unrivaled got that long-term deal. And what Unrivaled did a good job of, they've done a good job of getting sponsorships. They've done a good job with all of this. Short term, they've done a good job. There is still that bubble. There's the belief that the bubble is the women's sports bubble is a thing, hence why Project B has gotten so much funding. It is belief that that's a bubble, and they've done a good job of taking advantage of the bubble. What they haven't done is set up something that is going to be sustainable post-bubble. And you can maybe even make the argument that the bubble's over or close to it. At the true women's basketball bubble, the one that started realistically in early 2024. And for anyone who's saying that started it, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Because Caitlin Clark breaking the all-time scoring record wasn't nearly as big as Caitlin Clark getting hers back over Angel Reese and that NCAA championship final and that UConn game, Caitlin versus Paige Bueckers, and the start of the WNBA season. It was a bubble that grew and grew and grew. And if you guys don't remember, it was how big the biggest moments were actually after the Olympic break, because the Indiana Fever came back and were the most fun team to watch in basketball. They were sprinting. It was just bang, 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 three-pointer here, three-pointer there. Lexi Hull hits 6 3-pointers. Caitlin Clark goes and takes over, scores 10 points straight down the stretch of a game. Caitlin Clark sets her career high twice post-Olympic break, 27-point triple-double against LA Sparks. The Fever become the best team post-Olympic break. Then obviously the finals was huge. Finals was great in the WNBA in 2024. And then you come into the start of this season, it was growing. And then you had Caitlin coming back from injury, the 25 points and a half. She was really good against Connecticut, the Sophie Cunningham situation. And then it was that first groin injury. I mean, even when she came back and the Fever were playing well, she couldn't run. She was just throwing it forward. It wasn't like, it was kind of dying a little bit then. And then that second injury, when you knew she was done for the season, pop. The bubble officially popped. I think the mania was not the same 2025 as 2024 anyway, pre-injury, but the bubble popped. It burst. And it's mad that Caitlin Clark getting hurt in July has negatively affected this Unrivaled, because there's a large amount of people that were there for Caitlin Clark, stayed for Caitlin Clark, and would watch other stuff that are gone. That they're gone. They have other interests. And that's the thing is, Unrivaled and all these women's sports is that, and this is the one thing the players don't realize, is that it's not a women versus men thing. It's a sport thing. We live in an attention economy where not everyone's like opinions on things change. Like everyone's like priorities change. Like you're not going to be on top just because of it. You're not going to be on top just because you think you should be on top. Like we've seen in America in the sports scene what happened with the MLB. Even from myself, like I'm somebody that made a career off gaming. That's how I made my career. I initially made my career off gaming, but people don't care anymore about the NBA 2K game. People don't really care as much about gaming as they did during the pandemic. So you don't have a right to viewership. Nobody has a right to viewership, and that's kind of where Unrivaled, and I think the players themselves are so off base, is that they think that by making conditions better for the players, that more people would watch, and that's absolutely irrelevant. Like, it's one of those things where the encore product is all that matters, and Unrivaled has not done a good job. Unrivaled has done a good job with everything other than the encore product. They've done a great job with everything other than that. But their encore product hasn't been up to much, and that's why you're seeing a dwindling viewership, because there's no real rivalries. They don't want there to be real rivalries. The teammates are buddy-buddy with each other. The teams are buddy-buddy with each other. And they're all living together. They're all, most of them are friends. It's just not it's not an environment that bodes well for competitive sports. It's just not. There's no location geographic tribalism. There's nothing. There's people watching these players to see how their players have improved. No one cares who wins or loses. It has not bred a good ground for competitive sports. It just isn't. And people in general don't care because there's other things to watch. And especially because this league has been branded on, we can keep our players in America and, they can work out. That's not going to make an average person watch an Unrivaled game over whatever TV show they want to watch or going out and doing something on a Friday. That's not going to do it. And look, we have to be real here. Unrivaled is not going to be sustainable as a league, but I commend Stewie and Fee for doing what they did. What they were managed to do is if nothing else, they got themselves leverage in CBA negotiations, which they could be fucking up. No matter how, the leverage is only worth it if you use it. And if there's going to be a lockout, the leverage is gone. The leverage is gone. If it's, players will stay in Miami, those Unrivaled investors are going to be like, what the fuck? Like, we're going to have to pay players. You're going to have to find a way to pay players even more. You're going to have to do another round of investing, which means you lose even more equity. And even the funniest thing about all this is that if Unrivaled becomes this ultra successful league, because of how much equity they're going to have to sell to keep funding it over past the TV deal, the actual ownership of people of the teams or everything in the league is going to be so low that you're not going to be able to pay players. They're actually it's actually a thing. They're eventually not going to be able to pay players. It is the way it seems structured is a bubble for the players for the first 30 and that's it. Maybe the first 30 can cash out, but that's it really was made for those first 30 players to succeed, and then after that it becomes tougher and tougher. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.